All right, guys, here with your champion, Kmigs, God forbid, who's won it all after living up to all the hype, and it's done. It's over. You've got the win. How does that feel after people picked you to win the first one, and then you didn't make it to the semifinals, and then you snuck in the playoffs as the sixth seed and took it all the way? Does that make it even more exciting for you to get there, or do you feel like it was overdue?
Dude, I actually forgot that year one I was projected. A lot of people thought I was going to do well. Man, I was so pessimistic. Like everybody was voting my team. Remember this past off season as
Yeah,
the favorite,
yeah,
and then I was so inconsistent, right? I would have spikes and then a couple weeks of duds and um yeah, I mean, it's validating. I thought I had a great team. I really did think
yeah.
I had a great team going into the season. And they got hot at the right time. I mean, I just my team got really hot towards the end of the season. And then what was it to put up 207 in the championship?
Yeah,
Like that
to
was that was
just drop
that
the
was pretty
mic,
valuable.
basically. I think,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I should have had this, I guess, more ready than I'm always not prepared to open sleeper. But if I'm not mistaken, that was the most points scored in a playoff game, I think, in both years. I'm not counting the the extra pick bracket or anything like that, but I'm pretty
Right.
sure it
Yeah.
was just the highest of any of them over the last years, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to pull it up quickly, but I'm not doing it casually enough.
Yeah, because
Um,
then you have to go to the past years,
Yeah,
right?
so highest this year, second highest was 178 with code in the semifinal against me. 207 was the highest for this year. And then previous leagues, 2022. Oh boy, the Booty Disciple. Let's see.
It was cool to put up 207. I mean,
Yeah,
because
nobody's gotten close to
all year.
200.
All year we've had teams to spike though and put up two something, but
Yep.
so to put up, because sometimes I feel like the finals, I've seen some finals where it's like a dud both teams, but
Yeah.
whoever has the better dud wins. So
Yeah.
that, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And if you recall, last year, it was Deshaun, Goff, and Tua,
Mhm.
and there was I think it was Goff or Tua. Somebody had, this was round one of the playoffs. One of the quarterbacks I thought was playing in bad weather, and I
Yeah,
got
you
cute and
benched him.
benched him for Deshaun,
Yeah.
I think,
I think it was
and
your
I ended up
first
losing.
game. Yeah, it was your first game against Codes, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember
And
you
if I would
just
have won that, I think I would have swept through the playoffs. So this year I
you
only have
played
two healthy quarter.
you played Deshaun
Huh?
Watson, who got 14 points. You could have played Tua, who got you 22, and you would have won the game.
Yeah, yeah. So it was nice this year how I had some injuries and especially quarterback, so I didn't. Thankfully both stayed healthy, but I didn't have to make any.
You don't have to think about
Um,
it too much. Yeah,
no, no.
that's the blessing and the curse of having a team with no depth like I had. It's like I would go set my lineup and look at it and be like, well, I don't have anything else to plug in. But it also came to be a curse in the end there, versus you had those options and made it work for you. Um,
What are you gonna do? I know this is my interview, but what are you gonna do this off season?
um, let's just say Josh Allen is for sale. I
All
sent
right.
out a couple offers with him, but every single person, the four people that I sent it to, all said back that contract, and I said, no, you can restructure. And then Rick in particular was like, well, you haven't sent the fucking updates to the rules yet, so how am I supposed to know how it works? So I was like, touche. So if I trade Josh Allen, I'm within cap space. So um, that's kind of the plan. If I don't, then I still have other pieces I can trade as well. I think Josh Allen's just the most palatable trade option. So we'll see. I have no idea, but I've been looking at it more and more. It's like with my sleep schedule, I'm up like 4 in the morning doing nothing. Little guy's asleep, and I'm just sitting there like, how do I save $248 a cap, like just constantly? So, and I think Josh
Yeah.
Allen. I think Josh Allen's the answer, because again, I have to get under the cap before I can restructure. So it's not like I can just restructure his deal. We've got to be in cap compliance by April 1st, and then we can do the restructures May 1st. This way, I have to reap what I sow. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
which will be fun. I think it's better that way. This way, it's not just a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the new rules that we voted in, and I mean, just to actually see him in action, right?
Yeah.
Because like even remember how many questions I and the rest of the league had, except for like maybe Cam. Some people just understood everything. I feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
when we first, right? But so just adding some nuances to how we can work the contracts, I think is cool. And I know we've talked about restructuring, but I won't really get it until I actually have to do it, I guess, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
no, that's very much gonna be one of those things where you have to do it. I also finished making a calculator for the different cut costs, if you should cut sooner or later, what the discount looks like if you cut people in March is done. I've got a few more things I need to make, but I'll probably take that week off of work as well, because it's May 1st to May 7th is when we can do the re-signings and stuff. I'll probably take that week off work. This way, if someone's like, "Hey, I'm confused," I can be like, "All right, cool. What time are you free? Let's jump in a call and talk."
You're gonna take a week off work to support this fantasy league?
I have a problem.
To do office hours? You're gonna do office hours?
Do office hours of fantasy, yeah. I know it'll be good. I'll help with a little guy too.
That's dedication, man. Not to help your wife and kid, but like, yeah, for the fantasy league.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, she's very great and patient with me with this shit.
You gotta delegate some stuff to Codes, man. I thought Codes was like the co-commissioner.
He is. I should delegate more to him. He took over. He does all this stuff on Sleeper. He actually did all of the cap updates on the spreadsheet towards the end of the year because I just was so far out of it with the little guy and being in the hospital for almost a week. So Codes has 100%. So here's the thing. Codes does everything I ask.
To Codes. I didn't realize he was doing that.
No, he does a lot. Yeah, he does. Code. Here's the thing: is Code, and this is my problem at work too. Code will do anything I ask him to do, anything, no problem. And he asks me, "What can I do?" And I'm just like, "Nah, I got it." So I have definitely
delegated.
Yeah. I need to delegate for a win-win-win. I'm working on it. It's a development in my personal life too. Let's talk about our award voting. So all 11 of us voted on the awards for who should win, and so we'll kind of go by them piece by piece. There's a couple different sections. There's 13 different awards that are going out. A couple different sections, MVP for each position. Who were you rooting for, rooting against? Who did you have fun like talking to at trades? And then kind of predictions on where people will end up next year, as well as the GM of the year and who's going to win it next year. And so we'll just go piece by piece. I'll ask you your predictions on some of them, but for the MVPs, we'll just kind of get going. So Lamar Jackson is a pretty big, not unanimous winner here, but 73% of the votes going to Lamar, with Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, and Jalen Hurts all getting a vote for the quarterback MVP of these four candidates. I definitely think Lamar is the right answer, though. I think other than Cam's the only one who was really like preaching Lamar is going to be that guy this year. But he played super well for Unicorn. QB number 4, number 7 overall. And then in the championship week, dropped 46, 25, 20. I think Lamar is definitely the right pick here. I know Josh Allen was number 1, but like, it doesn't matter if your team comes in 4th.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm trying to separate from actual NFL production, like team production.
Yeah.
In fantasy, like Josh Allen from a fantasy perspective, I think really turned it out, right? Didn't he have like a ton of like total touchdowns?
Towards the end of the year, he did.
Then I keep thinking about how the Bills actually did, and they looked like kind of crappy for a little bit. But Lamar for sure. Yeah, I think I voted Lamar. I couldn't recall.
Josh Allen ended number 1 overall, QB1 number 1 overall.
If Dak would have kept up consistent production, like he had some really crappy away games, right? If he would have kept up, I mean, those numbers he was putting up at those home games were incredible, man.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. At Buffalo, 6 points. At San Francisco, 6 points. Home against Washington, 40. Home against Seattle, 34. It was definitely hit or miss depending on where he was.
There was that
playing.
stretch, where he was like,
at the Giants, 48. So, and then Jalen Hurts, obviously, with the tush push is huge. All those different points just from that 1-yard run was big for him. But Lamar takes it home here. Running back MVP. This is the only award that I thought I was going to get unanimously, but somebody, I think Dan probably voted for Raheem Mostert as well. But Christian McCaffrey, 91% of the votes, and then 1 vote for Raheem Mostert for Dan. In Dan's defense, Raheem Mostert did do really well, and I think he picked him up for like a second round pick or something stupid.
Oh, I was offered Mostert by. Did Chase have him at one
It was
point? I can't
probably
remember.
Chase. Yeah, I'm looking
I can't
now.
remember who had him. They offered him to me when somebody got hurt,
Yeah,
and he ends up I didn't really need him, but I remember just kind of laughing at. I don't know. I don't know why. That's 2 years in a row. Mostert's been a stud, maybe more than that,
yeah.
right? They just McDaniel and that offense just know how to use their fast running backs. I think that
Second and a
Mostert,
fourth for Raheem Mostert.
given his like ADP and in our league, like the contract, like yeah, like what kind of production you're getting out of him. But dude, for sure CMC.
Yeah.
Who's
Um,
even close? Who's even a close other running back that would? I mean, like if Eckler had a normal year, Eckler would probably be up there. But he's clearly, I don't know what's going on with him. Thanks for taking him, by the way.
yeah, you're welcome.
Um,
Fucking Brees Hall would have won me some stuff.
Brees, that like
Brees ended his
last
RB2 with 300. McCaffrey is RB1 with 412.
and look at how Brees did that like towards the end of the season. He put on like
Yeah,
2 or
43
3 like
27. And, well, 2 points against Miami, but I had to buy 43 and 27. Yeah, that would have been nice. But I just thought, Eckler's better for a win now. But they were both sucking at that point in
you
time.
also got Rashawn too. I mean, I still think you would rather have Brees,
Yeah,
but I think you were hopeful. Obviously, you were hopeful Eckler was going to turn it on.
yeah. I think we'll be fine next year. I think you should. I think I'll stay with San Diego, not San Diego. You know what I mean? I'll stay over there.
Yeah.
But that whole, I'm glad they cleaned house. Basically, I think that offense will look significantly better here very soon. So, wide receiver, it's got to be Tyreek. We see you, Cam Hunt, voting for CeeDee Lamb. But Tyreek is, I feel like, the clear answer here. If anybody else was going to get a vote, I don't mind it being CeeDee Lamb, I guess.
Yeah.
But got to be Tyreek.
CeeDee's a very close second, though. I mean,
Yeah.
he had, especially in the playoffs, didn't he put up like a
So
40? Like,
yeah, he did. So 18.6 against the Bills, 28.2 against the Dolphins, 40.2 in championship week against Detroit. Tyreek was out in week 15, 19 in week 16, and 14 in week 17. So, I mean, yeah, when you look at what Tyreek did in the playoffs versus CD in the playoffs, different story there. But I think overall, CD did score more points than Tyreek. Now I'm looking at it.
Tyreek missed a couple games. He got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
Missed some games. That would have been cool to see him if he played
3 games
all
basically.
season and didn't get banged up. He probably would have hit that 2,000-yard mark that he was calling.
And he was at
CeeDee's
1,800 pretty much on the year with one more touchdown.
And CeeDee's definitely a close two. Who is wide receiver 3 and 4? I think Diggs is like top 5, even though he like kind of disappeared, right?
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown's number 3.
Oh yeah.
Then Puka Nacua at number 4, AJ Brown at number 5. So.
Oh yeah, AJ Brown.
Yeah, and then
DJ Moore Amon-Ra. He was. Dude, Amon-Ra's been great, and to have him with
he popped off in the playoffs too, and against Minnesota in week 18. Not that that's a real week, but yeah, he went a little crazy there. Moving on to tight end, this is the one that was really divisive. We looked at these other ones as well. They all got some other votes, but they were pretty heavily one way. Sam Laporta actually takes the tight end MVP. Kittle, Hawkinson, and Kelsey all getting votes as well. Was surprising. So MVP goes to the Liquidators with Laporta. How do you feel about this one? Because again, this is a weird one. Sam Laporta does end his tight end number 1 on the year after his big playoff and late week games. Evan Ingram is number 2 and Kelsey is 3. Hawkinson at 4, Kittle at 5. So do you think Laporta should be number 1 here? And that's
Laporta was a beast.
Right now, he didn't miss a game.
Laporta's been a beast. Hawkinson missed some games. Hawkinson was real good for a while, but he got hurt. Dude, honestly, look at Njoku's though, like second half of the season. I mean, I know that's not as consistent
27,
as Laporta.
29, 16, 20. Yeah. No, he started going off with Flacco.
When he gets his targets, he's a beast. Yeah, for sure Laporta. I voted for Laporta. Kittle. See, I feel like Laporta is consistently featured in that offense, whereas Kittle pops off, but he's not consistently getting those targets, right?
Yeah, it's very much how the week goes, and who was like in the game plan more. Like CMC is always going to feast, and then it's like a toss up between Debo, Ayuk, or Kittle, but one of them is going to have like 40 points that week.
Yeah, yeah. Ingram's been real good. I wouldn't vote Ingram for MVP. I'd vote for him like most improved. I mean, he's like a top 4 tight end, I think, right now this season.
Yeah, number 2 for Evan Ingram.
Number 2, you said. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was real good. Hawkinson. Yeah, I think Laporta is clear. I think close second would probably be this season Ingram, or I'm a little bit biased. Just Njoku really turned it on when it matters. Hawk was awesome, but when did he start missing games? Or maybe it was the quarterback changes. Like something
Yeah,
funky
it was
going
towards
on
the
with
end of the
Hawkinson.
year is when I think he tore his ACL and MCL, right?
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's like he's optimistic he'll be there for the start of training camp or something like that. But you know, no idea. Let's see, what's the report? T on IR, ACL and MCL. Hawkins will be a top option unless the injury forced him to make extra time. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. That whole offense is interesting. All right, so here's where we get to some more fun votes. Who were you secretly rooting for? Any predictions on teams who you think got a lot of votes for secretly rooting for?
I think people were, man, I don't know. I want to say maybe me or another team that they thought they wanted you to lose. Everybody wanted you to lose, man. So like, I know like Unicorn told me at one point, like, just go out there and just go, just beat blind, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, or maybe Codes, because Codes had like a very like
It's a very darling run
on
at the end.
paper it didn't look like this elite team, but he's like the Browns, man. It's like super underdog, but just like crushed.
Yeah.
It was crushed it, man.
What's
Freaking starting Zeke for like weeks on week, you know?
Yeah, let's
And
take a look. So
I
pretty
can't see-
pretty.
this is a super you're seeing.
What'd you say?
Oh, I have to click watch stream. Is that
Oh yeah,
why?
yeah. You gotta click on watch stream.
I haven't been watching that the entire time. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
nice. That's pretty good. Well, now you can see actually what everything is. It's a little dark.
Good.
Surprisingly, I got the most votes. So fuck you guys for talking shit every day, and then actually secretly
fun.
rooting for me. I like the heavy votes towards liquidators and Seawards. I think Chase and Rick coming in, picking up orphan owners has been fun, and they've done a good job with it. I love that nobody was rooting for Cam and Raggy for that matter, but you had a couple people rooting for you secretly. Dan and the Tigers had a couple as well, and pretty spread out for the most part, except no love for Cam, no love for Raggy. Which makes a lot of sense.
Wait,
Wants
who
to
is
see.
that got 5 votes? That's you?
That's me. Yeah, everybody fucking hates me to my face, but behind my back, they were secretly like, "All right, well."
I was not dude. I was not secretly rooting for you or Cam, and here's why. I know the rules have been shared, and we all understand the rules. I don't know. There's just something about like being able to trade for Cap. I think part of the fun is like we all have this shared. We all have the
You're all
same
limited.
Cap restriction.
Yeah.
Like let's construct the best roster like within those whatever constraints, you know?
Right. No, I do think that the rule change that we put into effect this year will be a lot better. Of you can only basically you can only pay for the contracts you're sending. You can't just here's $50 for free. It's hey, I'll pay for half of his contract if you take him. But rooting against, you're gonna love this one. 9 people secretly rooting against you the entire year.
Wow.
Cam with 7 people secretly rooting against him. I had the same amount of votes, so you either loved me or hated me, I suppose. But your entire division just getting shots fired at them.
Nobody wanted me to win. That hurts, man. I thought I had like some secret admirers. I remember last year. No. Nobody wanted me to win. I love that. Love you guys. Also, fuck you all because I won. So there you go.
Welcome to my world, except I don't get to say the last part of your sentence. But everybody had at least one person say that they were secretly rooting against them. So there's equal shots all the way around the board. I think it's always interesting when a division doesn't have so for example, like Flynn and the Liquidators both only have one. It's kind of like, how is your division not rooting against you? But I also think that when you think of who you're rooting against, you're thinking of teams that were making it to the playoffs or a team that beat you narrowly that you're pissed off about or something like that. So kind of makes sense that the top four, I guess you can't really say top four because Code made it to the finals, but the top four teams in the sense of the three in your division and Nye all have the most votes. I think we're all rooting against Raggy. I don't think it's a secret, so he didn't get a whole bunch of votes. I think the Princess is getting 3 votes is surprising.
I think people misread the question, and I think the
Here we
last
go.
one they actually voted rooting against. That's why you got the most, right? 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that's what happened here because there's
There's no way that 9 people hate
there's
you.
no way 9 people wanted me to. There's just no way.
I believe you. And let's look at who did you have the most fun talking trades with? Cam Hun taking this one by a long shot, as he was one of the most active traders in the league. Chase as well, I think, did a really good job with all his trading, so he was fun to talk with. No votes for Dan and somebody voted Raggy. No votes for pretty much the entire Jamarcus Russell division. I think it's because the two are so hard to contact with Justin and Justin Stelly and Dan Flashes. Morgan's really stuck to his roster, and then Raggy's just Raggy. But I think the rest of the league.
At least you know what though, Morgan. I mean, I've had quite a few conversations with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. Dan, I don't know what happened to him this year, man. He was super active last year. I think we did him in. I think he's in too many leagues, or maybe he is just in the life now. I don't know. Dan, if you're watching this, we miss you. We want to welcome you back.
I think it's because you guys all ragged on him with that trade at the beginning of the year that worked out for him.
I don't think that's why. I think I also, at one point, we were so close to a trade, and he goes, "Cool. So what are the cap implications?" And then he just falls off like just that.
That's so funny. That's literally what he said to me 2 days ago. He's like, "I'll have to look at the cap implications of this," and then disappeared. So maybe he's still studying the cap sheet.
Later and just rejects them. Cam is in. That's interesting. I think he whispers sweet nothings in the. I mean, he pulls off some great trades, not fleeces, but like all the. I think he always pulls off trades that are in his favor. That doesn't mean like it's a fleece or anything. Like I think he's trying to figure out something that's mutually beneficial. But he's really good at making good trades, man. Like I get like there's so many times this year I'm like, oh, he did it again, and he's made really good trades to keep himself in the hunt. So there's probably a reason why, and that's because people enjoy talking shop with him.
Yeah, no, he's really good at it, and his Dak Prescott trade in the middle of the year gave me like Joe Burrow vibes for what he did last year, where it was almost like another storybook trade for him potentially, but it did not work out much to everybody's happiness, it seems. All right, moving on to the most disappointing team of the year. I think there's only one right answer for this one, and I think we got it. Where just I think my team was a huge letdown, not winning a single playoff game after the most points for record-setting scores. Record-setting wins in a season. It just completely just shit the bed in the playoffs. Additionally, Raggy gets a vote, Flynn gets 2 votes, and Dan gets a vote. Nobody else got a single vote here. So that's how the most disappointing went.
I voted for Flynn just because I did not expect his team to. I know he was in the division of death, but
I don't think anybody expected him to do not as poorly as he did, right? But like as poorly as he did, to come in 4th place in the toilet bowl. I think he would have. I think you could argue. I remember Cam at the beginning of the season was saying all 4 teams make the playoffs. I wasn't on that train, but I didn't think Flynn would be in the toilet bowl again. And if he did end in the toilet bowl, I thought he'd win it versus losing it. I just can't wait for his WNBA game pictures to.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. You know what would have been a great way for the league to troll me is if they still voted for me, if they voted my team for most disappointing.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. Most okay of the team of the year award goes to Dan Flashes, with 5 teams saying he's the most okay. The Princess is coming in 2nd place with 3 votes, saying that they are also very okay, and the Liquidators and the Deli also getting a vote saying that they are okay. I think that's fair. I think Dan still is incredibly mid with the. Let's see. I'm pulling up his lifetime stats now, but it's crazy how close they are for points for, points against, wins, losses. Dan has 17 wins and 18 losses. averages 131 points for, averages 126 points against, 9-6 in the division, 0-2 in the playoffs. He is just very, very middle of the road in comparison to a lot of the teams. I'm saying that nicely. I love Dan. I really do. We played Lethal Company the other day, and it was a lot of fun. But his team is very, very middle of the road for sure. And Code getting 3 votes there too. I think his team was also very okay, but the difference is that he made it to the finals versus not. Most likely to go from toilet bowl to the playoffs. Any predictions there? You've got Flynn, you've got Raggy, who's now run by Project Badass. You've got the C Words, and you've got the Liquidators. Any predictions on who you think took the vote?
I can't remember who I put. It's which team is Chase? The Liquidators?
That's the Liquidators, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably him with all those picks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so 7 of the votes went to him, 3 to Flynn. Somebody missed a vote here and on a couple of them as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
Okay.
yeah, very, very much the Liquidators. If you didn't think they'd make it out, it was to Flynn. The other 2 teams kind of predicted to stay down there again, and I think that's right. I mean, Chase has done. Chase has all of the picks, so that draft is going to go to him. Any thoughts on who you think would make it from playoffs to the toilet bowl out of the 6 teams there? You've got Justin's Deli, Buffalo Princesses, Brownout, Inaugurals, Kung Fu Pandas, and the Implications. Who do you think could?
I think
see in the toilet bowl?
Sorry, Codes. I think I had Codes. Probably Codes.
So
But-
close. It was very
Justin.
very split. So 4 to the Deli, 3 to the Princesses, 3 to the Implications. But every single person in the league thinks your entire division will stay in the playoff bracket, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
Here's what I do know is I think what's interesting is all 3 of these teams that got the votes, or all 6 of the teams on the screen, I don't think any of them have the intention to rebuild. I don't know about Code. I don't know about Allen either, I guess, really. But it seems like the way they're built, they don't really plan on rebuilding. I don't plan on rebuilding. So I think this should be fun to look back at next year.
I don't think Codes is ever really. I think at one point this year he was contemplating rebuild, but then he ended up making that deal for
Diggs, yeah.
Burrow, and then
Oh, yeah,
still
the Burrow deal, yeah.
ended up winning. Then Burrow got hurt, and he was still winning games because he had like Dobbs for like the few weeks that.
Yeah,
like,
when Dobbs was doing well.
Coates gets real lucky with like his waiver or scrap ads. Like he gets enough production out of them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we can call him okay all we want. Wasn't he in playoffs last year too? And I think
Was
they
in
lost
playoffs
him,
last
right?
year.
So like
That was something that surprises me when you look at the lifetime stats. So the most winningest team is to your boy Unicorn Bolt with 22 wins and 10 losses lifetime. Right behind him is you at 21-12. You and Cam both at 21-12. That's crazy, your division, man. 22-10, 21-12, 21-12 in your division. The team coming in next is Codes at 20-14. So he's consistently been good the last 2 years. So it's a very underrated. All right, GM of the year. You and Code take it home. I thought the screen caps of the pictures weren't bad. It took me a little longer than I wanted to find the right pictures. But you and Code's taking it home in a split vote. I got a couple votes as well. I think that would have been right earlier on in the year. I think it's definitely wrong towards the end of the year. But you and Code taking home the Code trophy of GM of the year. Do you think that's accurate? Do you think it should go more to him with his team construction? Do you think it should go more to you since you won? What are your thoughts? Unicorn, by the way, not getting a single vote here is interesting. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, that is interesting. And Cam also. I mean, like I guess at the end of the day.
Well, so in Cam's defense, I put the top 4 teams just as the people who would get it.
I'm surprised just because like I feel like most of the season, at least the first half, is people were commenting about like how deep my team was and how I've got folks on my bench that could start on like almost that. I guess that's surprising. Like, but I mean, you can't hold it against Codes. The fact that Codes made it to the ship and knocked you out with that roster.
Yeah.
I mean, like
that's a dub.
I did not think Kieran was going to be the guy that he was this year. I just had his roster pulled up too.
Not to leak our DMs, but you and I were DMing like there's no way Codes is gonna blah blah blah, and here he is. He blah 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 all over my face, and then he had a good run against you as well.
his team is an example of sometimes you don't need studs. I mean, yes, Diggs in name is a stud. I don't think he was putting up.
No, he was not.
No, man, look at that second half of the season, right? Diggs was not putting up crazy numbers. Kyron was. I mean, that was
Yeah.
amazing. But I mean, he's still a Lockett guy, and Lockett does. He got production out of Zeke when Lockett wasn't producing.
Yep.
So good on him. I mean, look at the quarterbacks he had the opportunity to roll out towards the end of the season, though.
Yeah.
Outside
Crazy.
of Hurts, it was Stidham,
Heineke and
Brissett, Dobbs, and Ritter. Like,
But he made it work.
Bodes, that's less than mid, dude. But the fact that he was still able to make it work is
Incredible.
I think that's what makes fantasy so like fun. Is like you
Fun
think
and,
you can have like
miserable.
fun and random and miserable. Yeah.
Is that a combination of that guy and Hurts is able to beat Mahomes and Allen, or hold a candle to some of these other guys and shit like that? It's ridiculous.
That team knocked out CMC, AJ Brown, Mahomes. That freaking all-star team that you have.
Yep. All because he grinded it out. I'm gonna cry myself to sleep again thinking about this. All right, last one we got to talk about before we wrap this up. We do have a guest question as well for your Q&A. Who's gonna win it in 2024? So this was open to anybody, so anybody could receive a vote. Any predictions on who you think might have taken that one home?
Who's gonna win it in 2024? Trying to think without. I think my team's a front runner. I think every year my team should be a contender. How I built it.
Correct. So you and the Pandas both getting 3 votes. The Liquidators, Implications, Inaugurals, and the Deli all get 1 vote. No votes going any other direction. So that's what I wanted to talk about as well. Is Unicorn doesn't get a single vote there. He was predicted to. He was a favorite to win it last year. It came in second. Was a favorite to win it this year, came in third. Is a favorite to win it next year, but he doesn't get a single vote for GM of the year. I think that's kind of crazy. It's almost one of those situations where, so this is such maybe a bad analogy. You watch Survivor too, though, don't you? Do you watch Survivor? No? Okay. Well, in Survivor, like Final Tribal Council, you're like, I want this person to get a vote because I like them and like they were cool, but they shouldn't win. That's very much how I felt about Unicorn missing a GM of the Year vote. It's like, I think that you and Code were the right answers, like one of you guys, but I would have loved to have seen him gotten a vote because I feel like he deserves it, because he was, again, as soon as our draft was done, predicted to win in the playoffs halfway through the season. Like, he's constantly predicted to win, but is getting snubbed on that GM of the Year thing. I just think it's crazy. But you and Unicorn sharing the division, sharing the most potential to win in 2024. Do you think that that's fair to share with him, or do you think your team has the edge on him?
I think that he's got a good team. He almost beat me, if you remember. Like, our matchup was pretty close, wasn't it?
Very close.
But I'm looking at his team, and he's got some good young pieces. I guess what I would be worried about if I was him is, does he have like a reliable QB2?
Right.
He's got Geno and Carr. Is there somebody hurt? No. Gabe Davis,
He's got Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley on his roster. He also has his draft picks, if I'm not mistaken, too. So he could look. I think so.
He has a second and a third. He has a late second and a third.
And you beat him by about 15 points in your game this season, so very close.
Yeah. Kamara, I don't know what are they going to do with Kamara and Gabe Davis. I think those are the bigger question marks, I guess. And QB2, and is Zamir White going to be a guy next year? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Jacobs for the handcuff there, which is nice, but lots of questions.
I just don't think you can ever count out Cam just because of the type of moves he's making. I mean, he makes crazy aggressive moves. Like, the way that Cam operates, it's not that I don't think Pandas can be a contender. He's consistently had a good team. But I just think Cam does such a good job. Everything is like a liquid asset. Like everything to him, I think, is a tradable asset. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas my problem in Dynasty is I have my guys, and I have my guys that
Yeah.
don't really want to get rid of. But when I look at how Cam operates and how other guys have operated in other leagues, it's like you have the opportunity to kind of just retool for this year and think about next year, you know?
Yep.
So any moves you want to make, like the Dak move or like the Jamar Chase move that he made last year, you know, like don't worry
Yeah.
about
Or the
that down the
Justin
road.
Jefferson move this year.
Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I mean he's had Cam's had some terrible injuries this year too.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that it just continues to prove that your division is a division of death. We thought for a moment that it wasn't anymore, and that has very much been proven wrong. But next year is realignment, and the top 3 teams get split up. So would not be surprised if you, Cam, and Unicorn all get split into your own divisions, and we'll see from there. But that'll happen next year. And you guys get to, whoever the number 1 team is in the division gets to pick the name of the division, which is scary and exciting at the same time. So that does do it for us, though. Oh, the guest question comes in from a user. He wanted to be named. Let's see. His name is Dick Runkin. He says, "Why are you the way that you are?" That's it. That's all I got for you. Question from Kmigs: Why are you the way that you are?
I mean, it's not easy being having a championship ring. You know, it takes. I have to divorce myself from things that you and other guys might be able to do on a daily basis to have fun. I don't get to do that because I have to focus on winning championships, and that's what I'm about. You know, I'm gonna guess, was that Morgan?
Yeah.
Is that Morgan? He likes to give me a lot of shit. He calls me Eeyore. So
I love that he calls you Eeyore, though.
Why am I the way I am? I don't know what that means. I love hassling people, and I love complaining when I don't like things. So there you go.
There you go.
When Cam was not ripping people off, but like working those draft day trades last summer.
That was crazy. I can't let it happen again this year.
It's driving me nuts. And it wasn't so much on Cam as it was like Zoinks, who we don't have to deal with anymore. But like, dude, I literally offered Zoinks trades that were better than whatever. I'm just glad that guy's not.
Yeah, we've got project.
You should still loop Zoinks into what's going on.
Okay, I'll keep him in the loop. I remember. Let me see if I can find. Without delaying this too much, I was messaging Cam back and forth talking about our promotion league, which is your favorite league, I think, that you're in, right? And I remember complaining to Cam that I was pissed about his moves just because of how good they were. But like I wasn't mad at him.
In this league or in the promotion?
No,
league?
in this league, I was just making fun of you because you hate the promotion league. But we were talking about the promotion league, and I was complaining about how good his moves were, and it pissed me off because he kept getting these fleeces, and I wasn't doing anything about it. And I'm not letting that happen this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, so he's funny because I'll be like, dude, how did you convince him to do it? He's like, well, you know, I don't. He's too nice. He'll be like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you just basically like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're like egregious fleeces, obviously. Like,
no, they're not. Like, it's not like a clear what the fuck are you doing, but it's annoying when he gets 3 of them after winning in the first round. You're like, how is this happening?
Yeah. Well, there was one trade that was with Zoinks because I remember like 4 days before the draft, I was trying to get a pick, and man, I'd have to go back and find what the offer was. He's like, no, I can't do it, or something. I don't know, something Zoinks
It's
does,
literally.
Yeah,
and then
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You traded for like Jimmy G, or he made some goofball trade, and I was like, but I offered you Goff, and you know, I'm glad I didn't trade Goff. Like in hindsight, you know, but...
It was someone. I remember what it was. It was someone in the league chat says Dan's 24 first is going to be early, and so he took like 105 and another first, and he traded it for Dan's 24 first, and it was like 105 and 112, thinking it was going to be like 102. Next year, and it became, I think it was like in effect 105 and 112 or 105 or something like that. So, or 106. It's something ridiculous, but that'll do it. Let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts you've got?
No, I'm glad everybody loves me and supports me, and I got a championship. It just feels good. I got the first one out of the way. Here's to many more.
Yeah, trophy. We'll get to you at some point in time. I'm getting it.
You gonna come to Cleveland?
So I don't. So I said all that when I didn't have a baby on the way. Now that I have a baby, it complicates things more. But I'll be up
Yeah.
Cam's way, get the trophy back for him sometime early February, and then we'll figure it out from there. But it's a big sucker. So if I end up mailing it to you, it's going to come in a big ass box. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Thanks for the time. Sorry this took so long,
Yeah.
and it was
No,
good
it's all
talking to you
good,
as
man.
always, man.
Cool. Take care.